Does it feel like fall?
It does. Probably in the 70s right now, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. That's
You're my
70s.
weatherman, so don't expect me to know.
Well, I don't know by feel. I know by technology. I have to trust my apps. I haven't looked at my app yet today, but yeah, I think right now we're in the 70s. But like more in like a bodily sense. You walk outside and you feel it.
Yeah, there's a nice breeze. It coincided with us announcing the fall drinks last week. It's like the weather just really cooperated for us. Because sometimes we announce them and it's like 97 degrees.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and the other large coffee chains, which shall not be named. Actually, it's totally fine to name them. Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks.
Yeah, when they announced them, I think the day they announced them, it was like, I think, a feel like 105 here.
Yeah, it was broiling. But I guess a
felt
broiled
poetic.
pumpkin sounds kind of good.
It felt poetic to me. I was like, ha,
You were so early. And look how hot it is.
you shouldn't announce them in August.
Well, this is good, and we know what question we're gonna read here. But why don't you read it today, babe?
Okay, let me pull it up here. All right. Here's the question. What are the chances of a year-round sweater weather, which is one of our fall drinks?
Yeah. All right. So I guess unpack this a little bit. So, what is sweater weather?
It is a latte.
Did I sound like a robot?
You did, with peanut butter and honey and a marshmallow fluff. And we make them all in house.
What do you think is how much of the sweater weather's popularity do you attribute to its name?
A lot. At least for people trying
Like it tastes like garbage, but then
No, it's good, but I feel like it just has a good name.
Yeah.
Interestingly, I follow some coffee shop on the West Coast, and I saw they just announced a sweater weather drink. And I was like, huh.
Doesn't Onyx Coffee also have like a sweater weather blend?
I have no idea.
No, maybe it's autumn weather or summer weather or father weather, whatever it is.
Some sort of weather.
But it's like it's a phrase that's kind of broken into our
Yeah, it just
into
gives
the
you like
zeitgeist.
cozy fall vibes.
Okay, so it's got a cool name and it's got cool ingredients, and so people like it. But as implied by the question, we only offer it seasonally.
Yes.
But it's not just because of its name of like, well, it's sweater weather now, so it's appropriate. And when it's not sweater weather, we don't choose it. So why do we only feature this in a limited time, I guess? Let me ask you that.
Why are you asking me? You're the marketing person. I don't know about customer psychology.
I don't know how much I know about it either, other than being a customer. Like the classic example that we will go back to is the McRib, which we're not really like McDonald's people or McRib people,
No.
I guess.
No, but my parents love, like, they will go there multiple times a week.
For the McRib, or just like specifically for the McRib?
Yes, for the McRib.
Like when it gets brought back, they drop
They're
everything. They shift away from Fazoli's for a little bit.
And when we announced our fall lineup this year, I mean, people were really hyped that we had the sweater weather and that we brought one back that we hadn't done for maybe a year. So it's been like 2 years, the butterscotch.
Because we used to feature the butterscotch year round, right? And then,
No,
or we didn't?
We oddly had it in the summer, and I was like, doesn't feel like a summer drink. So now we switched it to the fall.
So talk a little bit about how we decide what to feature and when.
Well, with fall, we've definitely landed on some customer favorites that if we wouldn't bring them back, there could be rioting. So it's getting a little easier now that, we're several years into this. But this year I ordered a bunch of syrups that I thought sounded fallish. And we just did some fun little testing with some of the team and tried out different things. So we have a new drink this year, the Candy Apple Cold Brew, which has an apple butter syrup that's really tasty. And then I think all of the other ones we have done before.
But we have 6 total drinks this season that are part of our fall lineup. I think in years past we've done maybe 4 or 5, and
Yeah.
now it's kind of
The trend
expanding even
towards
further.
iced drinks has made it where I have 2 cold brews on this menu. So we have the pumpkin and then the candy apple, just because of the popularity of them.
Yeah.
So it kind of goes by partially us testing things, partially us watching trends, partially how difficult is it to
Sure.
make this item, because actually the sweater weather is very labor intensive,
Yeah.
because we're making a peanut butter honey sauce, we're making a marshmallow whip. Both those things take extra prep.
And we have to keep that peanut butter mixing vessel like separate from the other things that we might use to make someone's
so
drink
we have
because of
a
peanut
separate-
allergies.
Right. We have a separate shot glass that we shoot, the espresso shots into, because we don't want to cross contaminate. So, yes.
And let's go back in time a little bit, because when we first started featuring sort of a unique drink, sort of based on the time of year or the season or a limited time, we pinned it to the lunar cycle.
Yes.
It's kind of like a monthly special, except instead of, the month
Yeah,
of March
I think
or
when
something.
we started, we did drinks that way too. We just had a monthly drink.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like we did a waffle as
Mm-hmm.
well as, a drink for a month, but then that would only be 28, maybe 29 days. And some people would really kind of fall in love with it. We'd have to either buy product for it and try and time it to where we would run out of that product, right on the same day that we finished.
Yeah, it never works out. Or you're disappointing people because you run out a few days before.
Sure. Or we're left with product, a few days afterwards because we
Yeah.
didn't time it well, and we're trying to convince people, hey, do you want to try this thing from last month? Because we got plenty of it.
I don't know when we moved to a quarterly. So we do a quarterly seasonal menu now. So there's 4 different seasons. But I will say, as we've gotten bigger and as we've been around longer, it's funny when we post the new menu for each quarter, it's always a huge post. But we were noticing this time how many more, like, not negative in like your drinks are bad, but they want the drink from the last season to stay permanently, so
Sure.
they get a little angry.
So do you think that this question was written in anger? Was it in all
yes.
caps?
Yeah, it wasn't in all caps, but this is
I don't think it was anger. I think it was
it's not
cheeky.
anger. It's more cheeky because they also ask me in person.
You know this person?
I know who this customer is. Yes.
Is it possible that it was 2 different people? Or you know who this was?
I know who this was. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do they angrily yell at you?
No, they don't yell at me, but they.
my sweater weather?
I would say more like pressure.
Yeah.
And so
They like
it
tell
is
you, if
funny.
you were to bring it back, I would buy 5 per day.
Yeah, or they would say I would come every single day.
Yeah.
But it's one that it would frustrate our team if we had this one on the menu for the entire year, because of just, like I said, it being pretty labor intensive.
Why do you think that we have certain drinks that we call seasonal favorites, or a seasonal lineup, and then others that are like our signature drinks that we do offer year round, that are maybe unique to our shop, or that ones that we just sort of decided, hey, this is an actual year round favorite?
Yeah, I think it's more comes back to how we started. So in the beginning, we decided lavender was like honey
Yeah.
and lavender
Yeah.
were flavors that there weren't a lot of shops using lavender at that time, which has become super popular now. And then honey was along with our name. So 2 of our drinks that are kind of signature drinks have honey and lavender in them. And then I don't know how we decided on the other ones. We just kind of.
Well, the Beekeeper was one that was, I believe,
That one became it was a seasonal drink or a monthly special. I can't remember when we had introduced it. It was actually one of our managers that came up with that one,
shout out to Alex Gale.
and it became the most popular drink.
Yeah.
So we needed to respond.
That was a great one for me to learn on because I don't care for the beekeeper
I don't
myself.
like cinnamon.
Yeah, I like cinnamon fine, but it's a less intense flavor for me than some of our other ones.
Yeah.
But if you look at like how customers respond to it, obviously, I'm in the minority with that.
Yeah, and that's a lot of being a business owner. It's not all about what you like, because me and you drink just black coffee. Yeah. And so we have to kind of put aside what we like and also think as a customer. And we know that lattes are the most popular thing.
So let me play a little devil's advocate. So we just
Your
described, I do enjoy playing this role. So we had something that was seasonal, the beekeeper. It was so popular that we decided to keep it on the menu year round.
Uh-huh.
Would you be open to something like that for the sweater? I'm basically asking the question that you read a second ago, like more seriously.
So
How
no.
do you? The answer is no.
The answer is no.
Okay, but
Because
what if
of
it became
the-
as popular because it's
But-
too hard?
It takes up extra space in the fridge. So it's like we squeeze everything in to make it work for this one drink, because we have to prep this marshmallow fluff that we put in a container. But I mean, we already have people, like some of our baristas, pushing to have this drink just fall off the menu altogether. And I'm keeping it on because I know people love it, but I just don't think we can make it year round. Plus sweater weather. I mean, that doesn't sound like a year round drink.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that with the sweater weather part. That
Yeah.
does seem like something that needs to be
But
sort of
maybe
seasonal.
we could do like a peanut butter honey that just doesn't have the marshmallow whip that
I don't
of-
think this would satisfy.
the diehards.
Yeah. But okay, so you have some caveats to that answer. So taking away those caveats, could you had mentioned before, like as a business owner, you do have to sort of respond to how customers react to things. And then you also mentioned that we had sort of put some things in place at the beginning that sort of set the menu moving forward. How would you consider, making a change to something that you had maybe started out with?
Yeah, I've done that. So what I look at is the data. So I'll pull up Square, pull the reports, how many of this item did we sell? One that's coming to mind for me, because I've had a lot of people ask for it to be year round, is the pistachio foam cold brew.
Okay.
So I am considering moving that to a signature drink. Number one, my first thing is it's delicious. It's very good. So
To you.
that's the criteria.
I like
has
it.
to
I
be
like
really
it too.
good.
It is good.
And then second, it just starts to get where I'll get lots of people asking for it. And so it's kind of balancing I'm okay with disappointing people a lot more than you are.
Oh, yeah.
But once I start feeling like I'm disappointing a lot of people, then I'm like, okay.
What's that number? 6? 60?
No, I don't
just
know.
kidding.
I don't have an actual number. It's
I
just
know.
when I start getting a lot of comments. So
Yeah.
that's basically how my thought process goes.
Yeah, that's interesting because we did actually also add the sweet cinnamon cold foam that went from being a seasonal drink to a year-round drink.
But I'm actually thinking about, so if it can be a like for like, so I'm thinking about subbing the pistachio foam cold brew for that one, because I've noticed that since I put it on the signature, where you can get it year round, we're not selling as much of it.
Interesting. So you'll exchange the diehards,
and then see
confronting
how it goes.
you from one drink for another.
Basically.
The Honeymoon Coffee Company podcast is brought to you by University of Evansville theater alum Rami Malek. I'm just kidding. He's never actually been to Honeymoon that I know of, but we are big fans of his and for obvious reasons. When he won the Academy Award for Best Actor in 2019, we wanted to do something special to commemorate this amazing achievement for this incredible man, and especially for the theater department that helped him to develop and hone his talent. While it's not a seasonal drink and it's not listed anywhere, this popcorn and caramel flavored latte is part of our quote-unquote secret menu. So to this day, if you go to our original Weinbach location and order the Rami Malek Macchiato, You can help us raise a glass to true excellence and taste the drink of a real champion. Or at least, we'd like to think so. Cheers. Can you think of a time when you're on the other side of the counter as a customer where you have been disappointed or maybe really wished for a menu item to remain that business decided not to?
I can't think of a particular seasonal item,
It doesn't have to be seasonal. It could be
but
just
I do
a
have
favorite.
this memory from my childhood.
Okay.
So there was this little Chinese restaurant. It was in a it was really small, almost like a drive-through coffee place. So just a little building. And they had the best chicken fried rice. And when they sold it to someone else, and the recipe
Sold the
changed.
business.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I mean, I never got that again, and still to this day, think about it. It was so good.
Are you going to cry?
I think their name was Wins, if you ever want to come back in Newburgh.
I'm sure they're listening. Yeah. Yeah. This is your call to action. We have one person. Yeah, that's basically turning this whole question around. If you had one person who cared enough.
Yeah. So I guess this question wasn't unexpected because I've gotten it in person.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about it? Because you're not really as involved with our seasonal menu stuff. You kind of let me run with it.
Yeah, I guess I do put it a little bit more on the psychology side. There's a difference between saying we're going to take this permanent menu item off the menu, like our chicken salad sandwich. That was one that I fought for and lost within our operations team to keep that one on our menu. So chicken salad sandwich people, you know what to do.
R.I.P.
But when it's seasonal, there's something that I kind of like about that. It's
Yeah, we do have a pizza place that has this pizza in March that is amazing, and we look forward to every year.
well, and everybody in the community does.
Yeah, it's the most popular pizza.
It's called the March Crabness from A's It Pizza, and it's by far their biggest selling item. And I've talked to Brad and Andy about that, and they wonder how it would do if it was offered year-round as well. And it is more labor-intensive.
I was wondering if they were also considering putting it on the menu.
It didn't seem like it from our conversations. Actually, some of the same things that you just brought up. Of it's more labor-intensive. They've got to sort of
You've gotta
prepare this
spread.
crab
Yeah.
and cream cheese spread, which is phenomenal. It's a little more work for the staff, et cetera, et cetera. But when I think of those situations, it's kind of like, here's your window. Here's the opening. Do something about it and know that it's, I take it way too far. My meaning making on this is way too far. It's like life. This is your life. This is the day. This is today. Go live it. Don't waste your life. It's going to end. So jump on it. Whatever it is, this menu item may not be there tomorrow. You may not be here tomorrow. If
Go
you
get
know,
it while you can.
yeah, those thought exercises are if you knew you were going to die
Yeah.
on this day, or if this was
What
your
would you
last day
do?
or whatever,
Yeah.
what would you do kind of thing. It's that adds a layer of intentionality to how you approach things. So if you know that this menu item is going to go away, savor it more.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. And that's sort
Go
of my take
12
on
times in the month.
it. Perhaps, yeah.
Gain 5 pounds.
And then when you go and they don't have your sweater weather or whatever it might be,
Yeah.
you deal with it.
It is interesting, though, as a business owner who has to make those decisions, and then a customer on the other side. The customer tends to see it from just their perspective of, I want this, and we kind of have to look at it, like you said, how much strain are we putting on our team to carry this out?
Yeah. Well, any other thoughts come to mind for you on this as we kind of wrap it up?
No, I think I looked at the numbers, and the sweater weather is going strong in the first week here.
How much stronger does it need to go for you to consider keeping it?
I'm not going to keep it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. So we're here to disappoint. Go ahead and ask your questions for your favorite menu item to be returned, and we will
We'll reject it.
shoot you right down. Yeah, if you have a question for us, honeymooncoffeeco.com/podcast. We will read it and answer it honestly. And until next time, cheers.
See you guys.
Hey, thanks for listening to the show this week. If you'd like to learn more about Honeymoon Coffee Company, check them out on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. If you'd like to submit a question for a future episode, visit honeymooncoffeeco.com/podcast. This podcast was produced by Wally Opus with editing by Brooklyn Hoffeditz, music composed by Sam Cuban, and project management by me, Wesley Luttrell. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back again soon.